what happens is, you mentioned 2014. For me also, 2014 was a big shift.
Yeah.
When I shifted from TCS to Cognizant, okay,
Oh yeah.
and I was working with MVC, ASP.NET MVC programming,
Mm,
and it was like currently how SFMC is,
mm,
the big demand. So that
yeah.
time that MVC was in a big demand,
Yeah.
and I went for an interview, and I was very new to MBC. I was trying to understand. The same thing happened with me. Like they said, there are a bunch of people in the interview, and they basically wants me to write some syntax,
Hmm.
and I don't memorize syntax and all.
Yeah.
Okay, so, so they gave me a piece of paper,
Yeah.
and they said, write down the syntax. Okay, and I tried to basically bluff
Yeah. Yeah.
as if I know, as if I know, and I studied that parenthesis and writing a function and all. But now in between, I'm now lost. Okay, now
Yes.
I was just, I'm doing this with my fingers with my pen.
Yes. Yes.
So one of the person said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't remember the syntax."
Right.
Okay, so then he was kind enough to tell me that, okay, you can write in words what you are trying to explain, write in words and explain it.
Yeah.
And I was able to basically relate what I was trying to convey the answer. And that person actually, he was the person who actually said that, yeah, what he's saying is technically correct. Others were actually, there were three people in the group. Others were actually against what I was saying. Okay,
Oh, okay.
the only the
Oh, that's
only one
rough.
person, yeah, the only one person who actually accepted me. And after the interview, I was like, no, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I got selected.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was able to convince his other two colleagues.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, and then I came to there in the Angular JS, and like as you're saying for gym. Okay,
Yes.
I also had one person, Abid. His name is Abhijit. Okay,
Hmm.
so he was a technical architect in Cognizant,
Hmm.
and whatever I learned as a technical architect, I give, though he's in from .NET, I'm now in MBC Marketing Cloud. I
Hmm.
always give credit to him, whatever I learned, because he built a certain framework in my mind that
Yeah.
how a technical architect has to be.
Yes. Yes.
So, mm, so yeah, you in 2014 get connected with Elliot Harper through Stack Exchange,
Yes.
right? And there you basically were trying to get some questions and answer, and then you two were basically diving into it and getting an answer,
Right. And
right?
I was Elliot actually had some of actually was asking questions on Stack Exchange, uh,
Mhm.
things that he was trying to figure out. He was asking. I was doing the opposite. I was trying to answer everybody's questions because I didn't know what the answers were, and I
Mm,
was learning. I was using Stack Exchange to learn, and Elliot was asking and doing that at the same time. Like he was the things that he was doing, he was asking about.
mm,
If you look at Elliot's profile on LinkedIn
mm,
or on Stack Exchange, he
mm,
has a lot more questions than I do
mm,
over his history. And he was him and I were just constantly back and forth answering questions of different folks, and I was learning, and he was learning by asking questions,
mm,
and I was learning by trying to figure out the questions that people are
mhm.
trying to figure out the questions that and then it turned into a competition,
Ah,
for fake internet points.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like now we were
yeah.
competing against each other, so it's like and we had a big time difference too, so that made it more fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I, yeah, I'll tell you this trade. Okay, I am trying to relate. There is no like relation what you and Elot has, but yeah, I'll give you a context with Matthews.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, Matthew do not question. He gives all the answers. Okay,
Hmm.
but what happens is, I'm also like, if I don't know, I keep on bouncing off ideas. I say,
Yep.
try this. Why this is not possible? Try this.
Right.
Let's try
Yeah.
this. You know. I'm always like bouncing off ideas, and a lot of people, they want always the out of the box solution, and
Yes.
I'm not a person who basically go with out of the box. I'm always
Yes.
like, I want to deviate from this. I want to see if this can happen or not. Okay.
Yes.
uh, just today also there was one question that somebody had asked, and there are three people we are discussing in the trail. I'm like,
Right.
and now I've stick to a particular solution.
Hmm.
I'm not going to deviate from that solution. Okay,
Right.
till the end, till the end. If they are able to convince me, then I'm okay. But if they are not able to, no matter whoever comes there, I'm going
Yes.
to stick to what I'm saying there. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, I totally get it. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical about I'm skeptical about the documentation, and that's what I learned early on trying to learn Marketing Cloud and exact target stuff. Is like I can't trust the documentation, and
mm,
if I can't trust the documentation, then there has to be some community, you know, there has to be some
mhm,
community element to the documentation to keep it accurate or to provide the
yeah,
resource. And really,
mm,
that's the conclusion that Elliot and I came to on Stack Exchange. Is like,
mm,
why are people struggling with this?
mm,
Why is it that why is it that there are no relevant examples on how to apply these AMP script functions, for example? It's like because the documentation is stale or incomplete or written by somebody who's never done it or whatever.
yeah,
And and honestly, that the frustration I felt, I channeled into my half of the book. you know,
mm,
uh, Elliot
mm,
Elliot was motivated by similar things, I think, but that was my motivator. Was I was just mad that it was so hard for the community to figure this
mm,
stuff out. And
yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah, for me also, I don't believe in documentation. So somehow, I like visualization of, maybe if somebody presents me a flow diagram, I'm happy with that. But with
Okay.
documentation, reading all the documentation line by line, I basically don't like it.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's one problem with me. When somebody has to ask me, if somebody asks me a question, writing down explaining them becomes a very trouble for me.
Mm,
If somebody asks, technical guy is asking, I will be very fluid enough to explain the guy, saying that, see, this is what complex cyclometric complexity, this is what maintainability index is. I'll be able
yes.
to dive there. But
Right.
if somebody is going to ask me in sentence, to write in sentence, okay, I have to revise my sentence more than 10 times.
Right.
Sometimes, if I'm writing, like, say, off,
Yes.
I'll be typing typo saying in, okay,
Right.
conveying a
Well,
wrong answer to the person.
well, the great thing about a programming reference guide is that there's not
Mm,
a lot of prose. There's not a lot
mm,
of like paragraphs. And to be
paragraph.
honest, the funnest thing about writing the AMP script guide was coming up with all the scenarios for testing the functions. And the
Mm,
hardest part of writing an script guide was the intro paragraphs and the
mm,
paragraphs that go between the sections and all of that. I spent way more time on that than I did, trying to figure out the best way to illustrate how this function works. Because it was just like programming in Markdown, because we wrote the whole
mm,
book in
mm,
Markdown, and it was really just plus I was having fun with Markdown, trying to use different tools to build it in different formats and everything, which I still have a love for Markdown. I use
mm,
Markdown a lot. But but yeah, but yeah, it's like I'm the same way. If I have to write, and that's why public speaking is difficult for
mm,
me. Is I don't mind speaking, but the mental preparation
mm,
of going through what I want to say, how I want to say it.
mm,
It's not the material. The material is like natural to me, but it's the presentation part of it that is the challenging part. And it takes a long time for me to get ready to do that because my mind has to be rehearse it over and over
mm.
and over again. And it's tiring. It's very tiring for me.
Oh my God. No, no. Oh, this happens with me all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens is, let's say, if I'm even, let's say, even for this candid conversation, okay,
Hmm.
if I memorize, I'm going to talk this and all, this conversation is going to be a blunder for me.
Right.
you know
Yeah. Yeah.
because what happens inside my mind is, okay, I have noted this question, I have to ask this question. Now I'm not listening, I'm focusing on my question. So
Yes. Yeah.
it goes somewhere else. Okay. And most other thing, maybe is superstitious believer, or I don't know. Like, let's say I'm excited of something tomorrow. Okay, I have to do this. And the day before, I'm rehearsing this. Okay.
Yes.
Now something is going to go wrong if I'm going to rehearse. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to washroom and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to say this word like I did with Sibu. Like I was nervous. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Sibu is going to come tomorrow. Now I need to prepare. Like every conversation, people has to give a proper introduction to someone, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I was rehearsing something about Sibu saying, okay, he's marketing champion, he's a MVP and all. And if you see the first introduction part, you'll see me, uh, uh, but
Yeah.
if I don't prepare, it will be natural flow. It
Right.
becomes a
Right.
natural conversation there. So now I say that whatever happens, happens. I'm not
Yes.
going to prepare for it. So I'm very bad in presentation overall.
Yeah. 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 I definitely, I can, it's just like engineering. You can over
Mm,
engineer something, overthink something to the point where it's terrible, and while it may be a work of art in your own mind or whatever, if it can't be maintained, it's not that great. So
mm,
it's kind of like the same thing with speaking. Is like I can over prepare, I can memorize. I've tried to memorize speaking
mm.
things before, but it's only until I just say, take a deep breath and say, this is who I am. I can talk about
Yeah.
this I can talk about this stuff if I
Mm,
believe it and it's something that I know a lot about, then I can talk about it. However, what I
mm.
just need to focus on is just not is being consistent, not and
Yeah.
and natural. And that's the thing. It's like if it's not natural and it's not efficient and it's not intuitive, then I need to keep trying something else until I get to that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think this is maybe I have to find one. Using like programming syndrome or something. I have to basically
Yeah.
find it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's
happens with
good. Programming syndrome.
those. Yeah, this happens with those people who are more into programming. Okay,
Yes.
like what happens is if I told this to Cameron as well. Like I'm walking in a code and
Mhm.
suddenly I'm not able to fix that code. Right
Yeah.
now, I'll not be in a very stable state, saying that even if I'm having my lunch or dinner, or if I'm going with my friends roaming around, it's not going to say forget about it. It never happens
Right.
until you
Yes.
crack it,
Yes.
right? Uh, and another what problem that I see with myself is somebody is asking a question. Hmm. Now I know the answer. Now I have to basically explain the person, so I'm typing the answer, okay? Especially that happens in Trellit. I'm typing the answer. Now I'm working in a company where I have a full-time employee. I'm very busy. I'm going in a
Right.
meeting and all, right? And sometimes I feel like I've written it very wonderfully there, right? The person
Mhm.
will understand. And later on when I go there and I see I have basically missed two, three things what I thought that
Yes.
I've already said. Okay, and then I feel like I told a lot of my friends that this keeps on happening with me. I feel
Mm.
like I've written it everything, but then I feel like it is incomplete.
Mhm.
Hmm. Then my friend said that actually your mind is walking faster than your hand, so
Mm.
you have to basically try to calm down yourself and
Yes.
maybe try to write in a notepad. Okay, and then once you write in a notepad, go and have a smoke, relax and come
Right.
read and then write it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been working on a query right for the past week. It's like a couple hundred lines long, and it's parsing JSON, and
Mm,
I've got all the models. I've done all little prototypes for
mm,
that show that this will work. This will work in Marketing Cloud. I
mm,
just need to get it to actually return some results, and it's not. And just like you said, there's
mm.
no peace in my mind until that is figured out. And
Yeah.
it's true. I get such a tunnel vision. It's like I don't even want to think about the rest of these things that I'm supposed to be doing right now that I need to get
Mhm.
done. I'm obsessing in my mind about that.
Yeah.
That query. But and there are times though when it really the way I approach kind of remembering and iterating on things is just like I write, like I have this,
mm,
I write down everything just with
mm,
my hand. Like every time I have a meeting, I'm writing down notes and things that I to remember because it
mm,
it helps me number one recall what was saying. Do I use this a lot as a reference? No, but it does help me remember and stay on track. Like I wrote down, I listened to a bunch
mm,
of your other interviews and I wrote down a few things because I noticed that you asked some of these similar questions. So I'm like, I'm gonna
mm,
I'm gonna prepare some of this because I know you might ask me some of this. But it's stuff like that if I don't do that, if I don't
mm,
obsess about it ahead of time, then it's really gonna be not good.
mm,
I need time to
uh,
warm up. I need time to warm up for that. And that's
mm,
part of the where I have a hard time with pace in high velocity agency type life where everybody's hair is on fire all the time. It's like I've got to be steady. I've got to be steady
yeah.
and focused and not constantly context switching to do
Mm,
my best work, and
mm,
work life balance and all of those things. I'm like, you have to make it. You have to make your work life balance.
mm.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
hard lesson I've learned over my career. It's like
Uh,
you have to make your work life balance.
yeah. Yeah. I think, I'm relating so many things. Now I'm going to my memory lane to my childhood days, where actually initially I was not good in studies.
Mm,
Okay. I Once I reached class 8 standard and all, then I started improving. And what I recall from all those, like even in diploma times or college time,
hmm.
what I used to do is I used to basically write down on notes. Okay, and I never used to review the notes, by the way.
Right.
But whenever I used to study, I used to write down everything. And
Hmm.
basically, my notes booking used to happen from the starting of the semester. My friends will be like, "Sasi, once you write the notes, you have to give it to me."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, and I never used to basically go back and go and see what I've written. But while studying, I used to write down everything. And sorry, not student, my friends, who basically used to go to the exam, they used to go rely on my notes and they used to go and give the exam.
Yeah.
And it used to get booked,
Oh
from
yeah.
the
Yeah.
very start.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think there's value. It's kind of my how I prototype and learn and stuff is just I put it in my own words. And, try
mm,
to distill it
One
into
word.
something that I know I can understand and can go
Mm,
back to. And it's usually messy and probably somebody couldn't read what I'm writing because it's
mm,
so chicken scratch. But it does the chronology of things, and it's also good to look back and see what you've accomplished and like, or even it's something as practical as
mm,
where did I spend my time this day? Like for time
mm,
tracking, for example. And it's like
mm,
just having some record that is just part of your routine. And that's kind of the way I use my notebook. And you
mm,
know, I I draw pictures. If I'm the kind of guy that draws
mm,
dumb cartoons
mm.
when I'm bored on a meeting or something. So this is just kind of my
Great.
outlet. I've always
Uh,
got it with me.
Yeah, yeah. For diary writing, like about the story, what I feel inside my mind. Okay, well,
Hmm.
like if I don't have any work, actually, I have to have some work with me.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if I don't have any work, then I feel restless. I don't have
Oh yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So what I carry a diary, then whatever is coming inside my mind, I try to writing those things. Even I write a lot of articles in Facebook where
Mm.
I don't allow other people to come there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And let's go back to Script Guide. I want to
Yes.
go there now. Okay.
Okay.
So, uh, 2014, you and Elliot Harper started exploring Stack Exchange,
Hmm.
right? And then you were trying to get answers. You're trying to learn about exact target, right?
Hmm.
And then obviously with the struggle of finding the answers, you both got motivated into writing a blog where other people can follow it,
Yes.
if I'm understanding is correct, right? But you
Yeah.
stay in US and he stays in Australia.
Yeah.
So how you people used to connect with each other?
Uh, just the way we do now. I mean, just video chat,
Mm.
phone calls. Australia, early in the morning my time and late in the evening or late in the day my time were the beginnings and ends, the opposite days in Australia. And so we kind of just touch base in the morning or late at night, and
Mm.
my time, and that's what we did. And we kind of just we had a couple of sessions where we decided how we started with the table of contents. And so we started this in 2017,
Mm.
and and uh, we decided we wrote out a table of contents is kind of where we started, and then we divided the table of contents amongst ourselves, and then we agreed on kind of what format, what tools we're going to use to write.
Mm.
And we have all the book is in Markdown on GitHub, and so that's how we contributed together. Was we just
Mm.
treated it like a software development project, uh,
Mm.
and then I wrote some tools to build it for um, the editor. So like I
Mm.
could generate a Word document or a PDF for the editor, the technical editor that we
Mm.
hired. And also I could generate content for WordPress. So we ended up hosting with WordPress, and uh, uh, and so that's kind of how I wrote the tooling for publishing it basically into the different mediums. And so then
Mm.
Elliot and I split up he took the responsibility for all the web development stuff, and I did, I've been doing all the order fulfillment and,
Mm.
customer service type of stuff since the site launched. And also, most people don't know this, but all along we've been Elliot has maintained a lot of good relationships with people at Salesforce over the
Mm.
years, and we
Mm.
actually we actually were underwritten. The initial publishing and website was underwritten by Salesforce
Mm.
early on through their marketing budget.
Mm.
And so
Oh.
we had a benefactor at Salesforce who really went to bat for us. And also Joanna Milliken, the first Exact Target employee
Mm.
who wrote the foreword for the book, she was injected into the process and we got to know her a little bit after the book was published. They had an administrative assistant
Mm.
write the foreword and then assign it to Joanna, and Joanna signed off on it. And but that her signing off on the forward for the book
Mm.
started a conversation with her and Elliot and I, and so we ended up meeting Joanna a few times, and uh, she was always an advocate. She was always advocating for us as well, which was really cool because she was a pretty prominent person at Exact Target and Salesforce, and she just recently left. Actually, in the last couple of years, she just recently left
Mm.
Salesforce, but but yeah, we had marketing budget. We had marketing budget that underwrote that, and also a couple of benefactors at Salesforce that really believed in what we were doing and saw the need for it. And so they helped us out at the very beginning. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without that, because neither of us had the
Mm.
cash to to do
Oh.
the
Mm.
printing and the website development at the same time.
This is getting quite interesting. So, when you started with the MScript, right? You both were starting with the book also and with the website parallelly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. So we were writing the book and building the framework for the website. Kind of It was
and
kind of sequential,
yeah,
but there was some overlap.
okay. And Salesforce also came into this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is Elliot Harper who brought them in with
Yeah.
financial.
Yes. Yes. And just this last connections,
Mm.
I met that benefactor person. I probably shouldn't name his name, but
Mm.
he was really instrumental. But I got a chance to talk to him uh, at Connections, and
Mm.
I told him some of the things that have happened since he helped us back in 2018, 2017, 2018, and he was really he was really uh, appreciative of that. I think I was nervous talking to him, but I was real thankful for what he did back then.
Hmm. That is a, yeah. See, having those people around is one of the biggest, beneficiary for an individual. Like if
Yeah,
I have to talk about me, uh, first, I was always going through the doc. I was trying to see the official document because everybody talks about official documentation, right?
hmm,
But I'm not a good reader. What they are
hmm,
writing that for? That
yeah,
documentation.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not reading a story,
yeah,
right? So one of my junior, he's a junior, and he basically said, "Sasi, actually see this M script guide." Okay, and for me, it was like not going to read what is written above. I just scroll down,
yeah,
copy it, and
yeah.
then basically manipulate it.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So then
Well,
I
and
actually got. Hmm.
I was going to say I use AmpScript Guide every single week, multiple times. I mean,
Hmm.
I use it myself, and if I start losing the utility of it, then I think it's kind of it's failing. But I still, it's shocking to me, uh,
Hmm.
the usage that we get out of it, and the usage that I get out
Hmm.
of it still, even after all these years.
Hmm.
And 2 editions of the print book, which the print book, Elliot is very he's very talented in book publishing knowledge. I think,
Hmm.
if I remember right, he told me that he has some kind of undergraduate education related to publishing. But his work, the initial first edition book printing, was printed in I want to say uh, California, and
Hmm.
then shipped to my house in Missouri by a
Hmm.
semi truck. Had a semi
Hmm.
truck pull up to my house and unload a
Hmm.
pallet of books into my
Hmm.
garage. And then we our first initial event was Dreamforce in 2018, I believe, where we they had a bookstore, and we supplied our books to that. And that was kind of the genesis of kind of the launch of AmpScript Guide, the website and the book. And for a while, we didn't even have you couldn't even get the print book by
Hmm. Hmm.
itself. By itself, you had to buy
Hmm.
a bundle, and
Okay.
ultimately we just started selling the book as an option if you want it without a
Hmm.
subscription. And then that whole palette, we sold all those books. We had some amazing companies buy a bunch of them, and my DG bought 100 books, and
Hmm.
you know we shipped books all over the world. And I need to pull up the stats, how
Hmm.
many countries we shipped books to, but it's pretty amazing. And then we
Okay.
ran out of books. We ran out of books, and so we did another
Hmm.
printing, and those were printed, I believe, in Kentucky, and then I got another I got another
Hmm.
semi pull up to my house and drop off another pallet of books, and
Hmm.
I've got probably a couple hundred in my garage still. So
Had you ever imagined that this is what you had thought of would become the things that build up slowly and slowly with
no,
this?
no, I had no idea. I mean, I knew I knew I knew how meaningful it was to me just to go through the process and to be able to offer it to the community, because one of the things I've told folks is that what you can get for free from AmpScript Guide without even a subscription is
Mm,
more than what the official documentation has, and
mm,
we did that on purpose. All of the simple examples that you can of all the functions that are tested are free. There's no paywall on those. It's only the stuff that is based on our experience and based on good patterns that we've found that's where the subscription part lies. The rest of the functionality is and the content is more than what you would get from the official documentation, and
mm,
that goes for all 150 functions. It's not just some of them, but
mm.
all of them.
True.
There's at least good stuff on there that
Yeah.
even if you don't have
Mm.
your company's support or the funds to Spring for
Mm.
$36 a year. There's still, I
Mm.
still feel good about offering that to
True.
the community.